no discipline happens to kids anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah, lacrosse is
Fucking
kind of like a preppy fucking. I mean, I think it's a pretty cool sport.
sure. Oh yeah,
it's like
it's
prep
yeah,
schools and rich
exactly
kids.
entitled. Yeah.
Doesn't
Oh yeah.
roll with our type of peeps. You know what I mean?
No, I mean a couple days ago it fucking sucked, and we made like $130. Last night we at least made like 250.
That's not bad compared to
So
like you said the night before was
like
pretty bad.
130.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for all the work you put in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's like if I don't do shit all day, okay, I'll take $130. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
But if I fucking didn't stop moving for the entire 8 hours and had to lift up a bunch of fucking equipment and shit, I should have more than that.
yeah. Equipment that you're not used to fucking hauling all the time. So
Yeah. I mean, 250s. I was happy with it last night. So
good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are recording, Jaren. If you want to do your famous introductions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Quit talking about shitty brats. Okay.
We made it known
Oh,
that they were brats, so it's okay.
welcome to the Rewatchables podcast. As always, my name is welcome. Jesus Christ! All right, we got to edit that out. I'm so
It's kind of
tired.
funny. It's kind
Fucking
of funny.
stupid.
So
Definitely got to edit that. Welcome to the Average Jives podcast, where we rip off the Rewatchables podcast all the time. My name is Jaren, and as always, I'm here with my good friend Zach. You can hear him laughing in the background.
that's me.
This is a podcast where we like to discuss, debate, and ultimately rank movies of a category that Zach has preordained in his mind years and years ago. We do not claim to be professional podcasters. We do not claim to be professional critics. We are just two friends who like to talk about movies, which makes us a couple of average jives. Now, this week on the list, we are ranking our favorite epic movies. Not just your favorite movie, but they have to be epic.
Yeah, yeah.
So, for first time listeners, we'll go through quickly. I will introduce the 5 movies that I picked for the list. Zach will introduce the 5 movies that he picked for the list, and then we'll dive into the debate section where we will ultimately come up with our top 10. Zach, what was your first movie?
Oh, good. I get to start off. That's awesome. First on my list is a movie called Ben-Hur from 1959, and it was directed by William Wyler, who I believe is one of the great directors. I actually did a solo episode on my top 5 of his, so check it out if you want some more Wyler options or opinions. And the novel was written by General Lew Wallace, a Civil War general who supposedly wasn't a very good general. He was late to the Battle of Shiloh, which kind of tarnished his military reputation, but he actually was a pretty interesting dude on paper because he also wrote this, but then he became an attorney and also later became the governor of New Mexico
Mm,
during the Billy the Kid era. So yeah, it'd be an interesting 10-part miniseries on Netflix or something. But
yeah, it wouldn't, but okay.
uh, the there were actually 5 different writers that worked on this script, but controversially, uh, Carl Thunberg was the only one credited with the adaptation. The controversy was was the only one that won the Oscar for best screenplay.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's starring Charlton Heston, Jack Hawkins, Stephen Boyd, Hugh Griffith, Martha Scott, and Kathy O'Donnell. Heston and Griffith both won acting Oscars for this movie. Ben-Hur, A Tale of Christ, is about a young Jewish prince who is betrayed and enslaved by his childhood Roman companion. From good fortune, he then returns home to seek his revenge, but finds a young rabbi whose words of peace and love are spreading throughout Judea. Just a heads up, there's an awesome chariot race in the middle. Uh, Bosley Crothers, writing from the New York Times, called Ben-Hur a remarkably intelligent and engrossing human drama. While praising the acting and Wyler's close to direction, he also had high praise for the chariot race. There has seldom been anything in movies to compare with this picture's chariot race. It is a stunning complex of mighty settings, thrilling action by horses and men, panoramic observations, and overwhelming use of dramatic sound. That's all I got, Jaren.
Perfect. My first movie is The Gangs of New York by my favorite director, Martin Scorsese. Stars, obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brendan Gleeson, Stephen Graham, famously John C. Riley as a bad guy, Cameron Diaz, and finally the great Daniel Day-Lewis. It is about Amsterdam, an orphan who comes back to the Five Points of New York to secretly avenge his father's death against Bill the Butcher and the quote-unquote natives. Again, like I said, it was directed by my favorite director, Martin Scorsese, written by Jay Cox, Steve Zalian, and Keith Langren. And I'm not pronouncing that correctly for sure. It was
Yeah.
nominated for 10 Oscars, but famously did not win a single one. Roger Ebert gave this movie 3.5 stars and says Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York rips up the postcards of American history and reassembles them into a violent, blood soaked story of our bare knuckled past. The New York it portrays is the years between the 1840s and the Civil War, as one character observes the forge of hell. And I
Okay.
did that a little out of order, but
Nope, it's all good. It's all good. All right. Next on my list is Dr. Zhivago from 1965, but I mean, it came out New Year's Eve of 1965, but still. It was directed by Sir David Lean, had already won Best Director for back-to-back films, The Bridge on the River Kwai, and another film on our list, Lawrence of Arabia. Sorry to spoil that, Jaren, but William Wyler actually ran into David Lean before the 66 Oscars, which Lean was up for his third Best Director nomination in a row, and Wyler leaned into him, basically said, dude, they're not going to give you a third Best Director for your third movie, which
yeah,
they
no
did.
kidding.
I can't. I think Robert Wise won it for Sound of Music, but anyways, the classic novel was written by Boris Pasternak, and the screenplay was written by Robert Bolt. Producer Carlos Ponte told the studio that he basically wanted everybody who was involved with Lawrence of Arabia, and Robert Bolt was one of those individuals. And
Hmm.
unlike his script for Lawrence, he actually won best screenplay for this film. So, but
A
it's
lot of Oscars. A lot of Oscars on this list.
yes, a shitload, especially for the previous one, Ben-Hur. But
Yeah,
which I didn't mention, it did win 11 Oscars.
it
So
did, and it's still tied for the record.
it is. It is. Dr. Zhivago is starring Omar Sharif, Julie Christie, Alec Guinness, Tom Courtney, Rob Steiger, Geraldine Chaplin, who's Charlie Chaplin's daughter, and also
Oh,
starring Ralph Richardson. And Dr. Zhivago is the story of a Russian physician, also renowned poet, who was consumed by the Russian Revolution but falls deeply in love with his nursing assistant, both of whom are married. Arthur Murphy of Variety declared the sweep and scope of the Russian Revolution, as reflected in the personalities of those who either adapted or were crushed, has been captured by David Lean and Dr. Zhivago. Frequently with soaring dramatic intensity, director David Lean has accomplished one of the most meticulously designed and executed films, superior in several visual respects to his Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah.
yeah, Lawrence of Arabia sounds like big, big influence on that movie,
Yes, yes.
which for good reason. You know, one of the best
Absolutely.
that we'll be
Yes.
talking about, as Zach spoiled. We will be talking about that movie here in just a little bit. But the
You can
next movie
introduce
on
someone
my
else.
list is one that we've already covered before in a previous podcast. Is Dances with Wolves, directed and written by Kevin Costner. It is about a lieutenant assigned to a remote Civil War outpost starts questioning his purpose after making contact with the neighboring Sioux settlement. This movie, again, famously swept at the Oscars, won 7 of them, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, Best Film Editing, Best
Yes.
Music, and then nominated for several others. And I notoriously hate this movie because it ripped the Oscar out of Martin Scorsese's hand for Goodfellas.
It was still a pretty good movie. It's
Yeah,
not
it
not.
is. It's a good movie. I'll give it that. I guess.
We're just both Goodfellas fans, so we're kind of rubbed the wrong way. Yeah.
Not surprisingly, Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 out of 4 stars, and says the movie is a simple story, magnificently told. It has the epic sweep and clarity of a western by John Ford, and it abandons the contrivances of ordinary plotting to look in detail at the way strangers get to know one another. The film is seen by the viewpoint of Dunbar, a lieutenant in the army who runs away from a field hospital and invites death by riding his horse in a suicidal charge at Confederate lines. Dances with
Damn.
Wolves is a sentimental fantasy, a what if movie that imagines a world in which whites were generally interested in learning about the Native American culture. So he goes on to go into more depth of detail. It's actually really well done. I mean, all of his reviews are well done in my opinion. Um, but he kind of he lifts this movie up when we've talked about it, and we'll I'll give my thoughts on it when we get in the debate.
Right, right. Absolutely.
What's your next movie, Zach?
My next movie is a movie called Giant from 1956. It's directed by George Stevens, who's one of the great directors of his time, and he was one of the cameramen who filmed the D-Day landings, either Omaha Beach or Utah Beach. I can't remember which one, or I couldn't find anything on Google. But he also filmed the liberation of the Dachau concentration camp. So he was deeply affected by his World War II dramas. His films shifted quite a bit after the war. But it's based on the novel by Edna Ferber, screenplay by Fred Gould and Ivan Moffat. It's starring Elizabeth
Ivan
Taylor.
Moffat. Nice.
Yeah, from Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
that's
it's
exactly what I thought. Though.
it's starring Elizabeth Taylor, Rock Hudson, and James Dean. James Dean's the last of only three films to which he made. It's about a traditional Texas rancher who meets a fiery New England sophisticate and takes her back to his 500,000-acre ranch, which begins the Benedict family evolving saga as the Rieta Ranch dissolves. From another Bosley Crothers review from the New York Times, he wrote that George Stevens takes 3 hours and 17 minutes to put his story across. That is a heap of time to go on about Texas, but Mr. Stevens has made a heap of a film. He continues and writes that Giant, for all its complexity, is a strong contender for the year's top film awards.
Hmm. Okay.
Whatever.
Oscars.
It won one. George Stevens won Best Director for.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, next on my list is The Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut. You have to point that out.
absolutely.
Directed by Ridley Scott, who Zach and I are both a fan of. Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, American Gangster, Black Rain, G.I. Jane, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Written by William Monahan, who I am also a fan of because he also wrote The Departed, Body of
Mm-hmm.
Lies, and Edge of Darkness. And it is about Balin of Ibelin, and his conquest during the Crusades. It did not win a single Oscar. It was not nominated for a single Oscar. And Roger Ebert did give it 3.5 stars, saying the first thing to be said about Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven is that Scott knows how to direct a historical epic. He actually goes on to say Kingdom of Heaven is better than Gladiator. Deeper, more thoughtful, more about human motivation, and less about action. Second thing is that Scott is a brave man to release a movie at this time about wars between Christians and Muslims for control of Jerusalem, which seems to be never ending, obviously, in the world. And few people will be capable of looking at Kingdom of Heaven objectively. Later in his review, he actually did say that Muslims and Christians both invited him to watch the movie with them so they could point out certain things that Ridley Scott got wrong or maybe forgot to say in the storytelling, and says that if you've made both sides mad at you, you've done something right. Which, good old Raj.
Yeah, right.
Next
Is
on
that
your list, Zachary.
all right, man? The next on my list is The Man Who Would Be King from 1975, directed by John Huston, legendary writer-director who, like Stevens and Wyler, also shot and directed World War II combat footage. And he directed one of Sir Jaaron James over there's favorite noir movies, and that's The Maltese Falcon. I know
Damn
how much
right.
you like that movie. So
I fucking love that movie.
based on a Rudyard Kipling story. Original screenplay. The first draft was written by John Huston himself. Then Gladys Hill rewrote the script, and it's starring Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Christopher Plummer, and Shakira Backish, who later became Shakira Caine, the wife of Michael Caine. They met during the making of this film.
Huh.
And The Man Who Would Be King is about two former British soldiers who cross the old Persian region searching for a kingdom. They find both a kingdom and fortune. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune also he gave the film 4 out of 4 stars, praised the film as a genuinely witty and literate adventure story that should appeal to the whole family. Kids over the age of 10 will enjoy being transported into another world of kibosh, camels, and adults will be hooked by the witty dialogue, much of it taken from its source, Rudyard Kipling story. So that's all I got for your new favorite movie, Jaaron the Man Who Would Be King.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie tremendously, way more than I thought I was going to. This is why we love doing this pod. Zach introduces some movies to me. I introduce very little to him since he's smarter than me. But it is fun. So anybody out there, who's listening, our loyal followers and our newcomers, check out this movie. We're going to be talking about it more in depth for sure. It is just a good, enjoyable movie. Next on my list is The Great Lawrence of Arabia that Zach has already briefly mentioned. 1962, directed by David Lean, who also did Dr. Zhivago and many other greats. The Bridge on the River Kwai, Great Expectations. It was written by Robert Bolt and Michael Wilson, starring Peter O'Toole, Omar Sharif, as Zach also mentioned earlier, Alec Guinness, Anthony Quinn, and Jack Hawkins. The movie won 7 Oscars. Oh, and shoot, I forgot to write those down. But at the time, again, a sweep of the Oscars. It is about an English officer, T.E. Lawrence, who heads and unites the Arab tribes in Arabia against the Turks in the early 1900s during time of war. Now, Roger Ebert also gave this movie, of course, 4 stars. I think there's only one movie on this list that he didn't give 4 stars, and that was Kingdom of Heaven, 3.5. Roger goes on to say, what a bold, mad act of genius it was to make Lawrence of Arabia, or even think it could be made. In the words 27 years later of one of its stars, Omar Sharif, if you are the man with the money and somebody comes to you and says he wants to make a film that's 4 hours long with no stars, no women, no love story, and not much action, he wants to spend a huge amount of money to go film in the desert, what would you say? The
Yeah.
impulse to make this movie was above all imagination. Oh, I do have the winners here. Best Picture. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's all I have.
Oh well, shit! It did win Best Picture, so yeah, Best Picture, Best Director, yeah, the basics, yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
good one, yeah.
Peter O'Toole, Best Actor. Omar Sharif, Best
No,
Supporting.
oh yeah, yeah, they were nominated. They were, yeah. The last film on my list is a movie we've covered in previous pods, and that's Spartacus from 1960. It was directed by Stanley Kubrick. We've actually covered this movie, like I said already, but we did cover a movie the other episode that he
Mm-hmm.
directed. That's called The Shining, which we
Yep.
both enjoyed. The writing credits were given to 2 blacklist writers, novelist Howard North, sorry, correction, and the famous or infamous, depending on which circle you were in back in the late 50s, but Dalton Trumbo was the screenwriter for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's starring Kirk Douglas, Laurence Olivier, Gene Simmons, Charles Lofton, Peter Ustinov, Tony Curtis, and John Gavin. I just actually watched a movie not too long ago to which Peter Ustinov starred and directed in called Billy Budd, and it wasn't too bad for
Oh,
you know
I've heard of that. I've not watched it, but of course, like I said, Zach knows all.
on The Sopranos they call it a game. So, but
Oh,
it's
go ahead.
about a it's about a former slave turned gladiator who leads a revolt against the mighty Roman Empire. John L. Scott of the Los Angeles Times praised the fabulous cast, Trumbo's expert screenplay, and an impressive climactic battle scene, writing, Here, young director Stanley Kubrick gives notice that from now on he's definitely to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
His use of cameras and handling of people are very effective and skillful. And
yeah,
that's
and
all.
he'd go on to have one of the best careers of any director, and many
Yeah.
directors coming up in the 80s and the 70s, 80s, and 90s all looked up to Stanley Kubrick, and we famously lost him after he made Eyes Wide Shut, which is another crazy fucking movie. We probably won't be covering on this podcast unless we do um, Stanley Kubrick, which actually wouldn't be a bad idea.
He didn't actually make that many movies, though, as strange as.
That's true. We couldn't get 10 out of it. Last on my list is the 1939 release Gone with the Wind. It is directed by Victor Fleming, written by Margaret Mitchell, author of the original story Old South, and is about a sheltered and manipulative Southern belle faces off with a roguish profiteer, and a turbulent romance begins during the Civil War, or I'm sorry, during the abolishment, Jesus, of slavery in the Deep South. Cannot talk today. It stars Clark Gable, Vivian Lee, Thomas Mitchell, and Barbara O'Neill. Roger Ebert, again, 4 out of 4 stars, says Gone with the Wind presents a sentimental view of the Civil War in which the Old South takes the place of Camelot, and the war was fought not so much to defeat the Confederacy and free the slaves as it is to give Scarlett O'Hara her comeuppance.
Nice.
Yet GWTW, which he doesn't use a lot of acronyms, but says approaches its 60th anniversary is still a towering landmark of film, quite simply because it tells a good story and it tells it wonderfully well. This movie, again, some more Oscars for the list, won 8 Oscars that year in 1939, including Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, Writing, Cinematography, Art Direction, Editing, and of course, Best Picture. And I
Wow.
think that concludes all 10 so far.
Yeah, 22 minutes. That's not too bad, Jaaron.
Yeah, we're shaping this up.
Yeah.
We're getting our groove in here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you started introducing. Let's see what you got for number 10 and number 9, Zach.
Can you guess, Jaaron?
I'm gonna say Gangs New York at number 10, and The Man Who Would Be King at 9.
Ooh. I
Nope.
actually have me and Raj would agree on this one. We both have Kingdom. We would both have Kingdom of Heaven at 10.
Okay.
So
I don't think
yeah,
Roger would agree with that, but whatever.
you don't think so?
I
He
don't
gave
think
it
so.
4 out of
He
4
enjoyed
stars.
it. He enjoyed it. It's fun. It's not that fun.
It's not.
It's a good movie,
Well,
well made. I wouldn't go so
yes,
far as to
yes.
say it's a fun movie. Kingdom of Heaven, okay, at 10, and then at 9, what'd you have?
I had Gangs of New York.
I figured you say that
You
with a
weren't
lot
that
of
far
disdain in your voice.
off, but dude, and I'm watching it right now. It's on mute. I don't hate the
Nice.
movie, but
No, we
yeah,
both
it's
we both we both love this movie. I know it's
shit. There was probably a time where we would both agree it was like our favorite fucking movie
yeah,
at one point.
definitely. I mean, just the first battle scene alone,
Yeah, yeah.
is
But
why.
the reason I had Kingdom of Heaven at 10 was like I I was heavily influenced by social media and shit. That the
Yeah,
director's cut was just so much better. Oh my
yeah,
god, it made it so much better than the theatrical. And I'm watching, I'm like, I'm basically that. Okay, it fills holes in the story, but
yep,
and what's good about it is still good. The battle sequences are fucking awesome, dude. The
yeah,
special effects, production design, still love that. But the adding in the scenes didn't make it. It didn't make a good movie great. It's still just good. So
yeah. I mean,
that's
it's like you said, it fills in holes. It kind of there's some plot points in the movie in the original script or the original showing that you know they just completely abandon, and you don't ever find out kind of what happens to certain
right.
characters and certain
Mhm.
battle scenes. So yeah, it shores it up. It is. I mean, it's an entertaining movie. That's for sure. There's Orlando Bloom. I think well acted in the movie. I actually forgot Edward Norton was in it, and
Because he's covered. Yeah.
yeah, he has his face covered with a mask the entire time, and I'm like, God, I know that voice. Like who is that? I had to go on IMDb and look it up, and it kind of blew my mind. And he's really not in the movie very long either.
Not really. Not even in the director's cut. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I
And
mean,
with
again, this is going to be another list where I'm not really going to argue too much about. I mean, they're all fantastic movies, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're we can argue and nitpick, certain movies obviously we like a little better. Obviously, directors, I have gangs a little higher because, of course, Martin Scorsese is my favorite director.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and that's what I kind of wrote down too. This was a movie that introduced me to Scorsese, and I loved it when I first saw it in the theaters, and I loved it for a long time. And but then he made The Departed shortly after this, Wolf of
mhm,
Wall Street, and then I watched obviously Goodfellas and
yep.
Raging Bull, and I'm like, shit, man, like his style. I just don't think his style necessarily fits period pieces that well. I mean,
Yeah,
it's still entertaining.
there's
It's
no
just
cocaine in Gangs of New York. Like, what the hell?
right.
I
A
mean,
little bit
come
of
on, come on,
yeah,
Marty. Should
a
there
little
is an
bit of
opium?
sex, but
There is an
yeah,
opium scene, though. Yeah,
there is, yeah, there is.
he's got to have his drugs.
He's good.
Um, and then obviously for people who have listened to the podcast know I revise my list several hundred times before actually doing the podcast. And originally I had Kingdom of Heaven up at 5, and then
Holy
dropped it
shit!
dropped it down to 8. It was at 10 at one point. I had it at 9, so I'm okay with Kingdom of Heaven at 10.
Okay, okay.
I, on the other hand, maybe am going to disappoint you. I had Doctor Zhivago.
Holy shit! At 9, fuck! I
Yeah.
thought for sure you were gonna have Giant. The way you talked about Giant, I thought for sure you were gonna have it at freaking.
Well,
I thought you were gonna have it at 10. So,
again, I had a Giant at 10 originally, not originally, after first screening. Go back and forth. I had Zhivago um, at 10, Giant at 9.
hmm.
So, I mean, Dr. Zhivago, I love saying the title, that's for sure. And it is an epic, the Ural Mountains scenes that are great. It really tells the good story of the Bolshevik Revolution. I mean, when
Yeah, yeah, it's
the
I'm still impressed with it, even though I know it's has flaws, and maybe because we kind of talked about it. We've had me and Jaren have had technical issues all season trying to record these episodes, and we kind of talked about it. We kind of talked about this episode a little bit early
yeah,
on,
kind of
and we kind
offline.
of slipped. Yeah, and it was other than the key performers, the acting isn't that great, and
I mean,
I
it's
know,
just in the beginning, it's Julie Christie character is a 17-year-old, and I can't remember the guy's name who she ends up killing or shooting, I guess, not killing. Creeping on her, and it
yeah,
just
yeah,
it's like, well, I thought this was about a doctor, and obviously then he comes in after the mother's apparent suicide attempt, which was kind of, I mean, watching that scene, I had to kind of rewind it once or twice and like, what really happened here? Like, how did she even try to commit suicide, and what was the reasoning of it, and or did the guy like poison her? It was kind of,
so much with the Hayes Code and stuff. Like they had to they had to make it a little more subtle. Like you weren't supposed to
yeah,
kill yourself in movies
you
back then.
couldn't
You know
like
what
come out and say, yeah,
I
she
mean?
tried to kill
Yeah,
herself. And then the names in it honestly was another thing that kind of, they were all fucked up. Like,
yeah.
like is the guy is the guy's name's Komarski or whatever, or is it Victor
Oscar.
Aprilovich? And
Yeah,
then she gets called Laura and Larissa at times.
I mean it's short. Yeah,
Everybody has two names, but I did think it was a great shot of the window where the frost kind of melts
yeah.
from the candle,
It defrosts from the candle. Yeah,
and
yeah.
it goes into the room. I thought that was a great shot. But I mean, Omar Sharif always looks like he's high as fuck too. I mean, his eyes are always bloodshot in this movie. Well, in most movies, like, actually. And then,
yeah,
I thought the first half of the movie was very entertaining and, telling of the Bolshevik Revolution, and, how the peaceful protests that turned into violence, which really set off, the
the
outrage
revolution.
and the
Yeah,
bringing
yeah.
down of the family in charge. But then the last hour just kind of turned into a soap opera. I don't
It
know.
did. Yeah. Like I said, well, one of the reasons I'm biased is because it's my favorite film score by Maurice Jarre. I love the Balalaka tune. The melody. But
Okay.
one of the things I
Yeah.
wrote, because I had it at 5, but here's the thing.
Wow.
I was going to give this one. I usually, about every other episode, I give a Jaron's choice, and this was going to be like, where would you put it? But the kicker, I said, there's no way this movie goes any lower than 8. Like that
Okay.
to me is like, I understand it's flawed and it's yeah, but it was at one time one of the highest grossing movies of all time. So,
That's true.
but
Okay. I mean 8, but then you're gonna make me put Gangs New York at 9, then, aren't you?
yes, sorry for the pause, but it was.
All
It's
right.
just, man, I yeah, I know you're not a fan of Giant, but to be honest, I saw a lot of Scorsese style in Giant, like the long shot or wide shot, go to the extreme close up, like during the horse breaking scene, and then
Yeah.
you see the spurs. Now, obviously, the technology wasn't that great, so it didn't look awesome, but that style of filmmaking and the lighting and Scorsese, like I remember him doing it in After Hours at least, where he does the pan, but then the quick zoom, like it's a
Oh yeah.
quick. In Giant, during the dinner scene, it was the same thing, but it was just a slow pace. I
Yeah.
just, I
No, I mean the dinner scene I actually have written down. Great dialogue, great cinematography, great set design. 10 out of 10. Like I think I mean obviously I think that that was the best scene in the film. I mean
we,
just
we agree. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean I think the first shot with the horses was fucking awesome. The
Mhm.
following the following scene, the shot is incredible. At dinner taking place other side of the table, but the camera's like looking at the daughter, and it's not
Right.
really, and it's not really focusing on. I just so I can completely agree with that. I just thought, and there are very deliberate scenes in that movie with Leslie and the Mexicans to show empathy and compassion. I just thought it was over the top, like
A little corny or
a
something.
little, yeah,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
set up. And then I wrote down the hour or so with the mental shit was dumb as fuck.
What was it? Repeat that. I couldn't hear you.
I can't read my own hair. I said that an hour or so, and the hour or so with the mental shit. I don't know. Oh,
Mental shit.
with the
Oh,
marital.
Mary. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
where it's just back and forth with the getting like. Let's just move on with the story. I mean, I don't know. And then people might want to put me down for saying this, but I honestly just thought James Dean acting was terrible.
Yeah,
And
I was
and I
gonna
know
say
he died, post
that's
production
pretty.
right after this is his last performance, and I know he is a great actor. I have seen other movies with him. I just thought he was so over the top in this and just trying too hard. I don't know. There's no other
Yeah,
way
maybe.
I can describe it.
Yeah, that's. It was a much. You put it in a much more gentle way this go around than you did when we discussed it. You basically said he sucked, and I was like, dude, I got defense loaded in the chamber. I got like a bullet ready to defend James Dean, even though I'll admit, out of his 3 movies, I do think this is. I like this performance the least, and
Yeah.
and
And
I
I didn't
do.
honestly I didn't realize it was Dennis Hopper until like almost the end of the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh yeah, good old Dennis Hopper.
He's so young, dude, and his acting was great. I thought. I mean, I think he outperformed James Dean. I'll say that. How about that?
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Hot take. I like that.
But there's another shot, the handheld shot slot machine on Christmas. I thought that was cool, and then the shot with the newspaper where they're in bed,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
where
The
like you said, where it's zoomed in on, and then y- you know, a lot of times the camera's not looking in the direction of who's speaking and kind of what's going on in the scene, which I thought. So maybe I'm talking myself into it a little higher. Okay,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
because
did enjoy.
yeah, because when the other day you kind of made it sound like you hated it, and I was like,
I
well,
know.
shit, maybe,
I
maybe
I
it's
just
one of
not a
those.
lot for being an epic. Not a lot happens in the movie, I
Yeah,
guess.
I no, I agree with you 100% on that. Out of all the movies on this list, like the least amount of shit happens. It's
Yeah,
basically in one house the whole fucking movie. So
right. It's
most
in the house. Though there is another shot of the oil rig, like the silhouette of the oil rig, that I really enjoyed. So yeah, I mean, camera camera alone, the dialogue and the dinner scene. I guess yeah, the reason I was so harsh on it the other day when we were talking offline is yeah, for an epic, just not a lot happens, and it all most epics have sweeping shots of mountainous ranges or the Great Plains or Russia, and this is just like in one house the whole time, and
yeah, it does have
you
some
know
big establishment shots of like Texas itself, but you're
yeah
right. Most of the film is for a 3 hour, 20-minute movie. It's really focused on interior shots.
yeah,
So I get it, but
and like
yeah,
the oil boom and everything. It's understandable why it's on the list, but yeah, I think I'd like to put it at 7.
okay, I'm good with that.
Okay. And
Yeah,
then
so
now I'm gonna have another hot take here.
hmm,
I had Gone with the Wind at 7.
holy shit, that's seven, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's one of the greatest movies of all time, and it was praised and heralded when it first came out, and it made all the money, and it won all the Oscars, and I mean, it's just not my style of movie, right? I mean, it's well made. I just thought it was boring, honestly. I mean, I
Well,
don't
it's
know how else to say it.
yeah, it's well, it's definitely a movie that changed cinema forever. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
it's
and I understand its greatness and what it accomplished when it came out in 1939, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah,
so they were really not handcuffed because they didn't know any better, right? They didn't have the technology to do the certain things that. But I thought the set design was awesome. That the acting was great. It's just, in my opinion, I was just bored like most of the movie,
okay,
and
okay.
maybe that's not a good argument.
No, no, it's fine. I mean, I still I still get pretty entrenched watching it every time I'm like either listen to it while up for background noise or
Yeah.
something. But I still like it quite a bit. But
Well, and I mean, I watched it after a long day out with the dog in town and out in the sun for a while. I think I started the movie at like 8 o'clock at night, and obviously it's damn near 4 hours. So I didn't. So it could be that I was just sleepy and kind of grumpy with it, and maybe a little distracted. But I understand its historical significance and the relevance of where movies have gone and where they are
right,
now.
yeah.
But again, it's my goddamn list. You
well,
can veto me and have it higher. But I had
well,
it
I
all
was
the I had it all the way down at 7 just because of the pure entertainment factor. I thought a lot of these other movies were just more entertaining.
okay. Um, I mean, I had dances at seven. Where did you have that?
I had dances at 6.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
I mean, where did you have Gone with the Wind?
I had it at four, but I mean,
Okay.
compared to some of the other movies, also, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could put The Man Who Would Be King before Gone with the Wind. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll put. How about Gone at 5? Man Who Would Be King at 6.
Oh, I like that. I like
Okay.
that. Jared, one of them, we talked about this again, but I put The Man Who Would Be King because it's one of my dad's favorites, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to hear your take on it. What are your thoughts on The Man Who Would Be King?
Just flat out enjoyment.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
mean,
Fun movie.
it's the shortest of all of the movies here. I think it's just over 2 hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in the in the description or the definition of a quote unquote epic movie, they usually last over 3 hours. 3.5,
yeah.
maybe even 4 hours.
Minimum two and a half. Minimum
Yeah,
two and a half.
and
Yeah.
I think this is like 2 hours and like 8 minutes or something. I mean, it's short, but I mean, I mean, it's so funny, honestly. I mean, it borderline satire at times with the dialogue.
Yes, that part is true. Yeah.
I mean, but the dialogue, the delivery, the Sean Connery, who normally plays like this just total commanding, almost mean and threatening man. It, I mean, I think the other guy, I can't find his
Michael
name right
Caine.
here. Peachy is
Oh,
smarter.
Peachy. Yeah, yeah,
Peachy's definitely the smarter. He's the brains of the operation, and then Sean Connery, all because he's wearing leather and no blood comes out when he first gets hit with an arrow, or with an arrow. Is he's the one who becomes the god? But I mean,
right,
I think
right.
Peachy played it better, and yeah, the voiceover, the expository dialogue, it's just absolute great delivery, and it's just so entertaining. And they during the movie, like with the avalanche that actually saves them instead of killing them, like, and
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
kind of fall ass backwards into everything, and then becoming, he becomes Sikander, which is Alexander the Great's son, right? Like, and
right. Yeah,
he becomes a deity and goes to his head. Even at one point, he's like, Peachy, I think you need to bow when I come around, and Peachy just kind of looks at him like, no.
he
It's
hesitates. Yeah,
like,
he hesitates and is like, okay.
yeah. But I mean, good shots of like the Afghan landscape on their way down there. I thought the avalanche scenes were really well done. It's just the dialogue was just so witty and funny.
Yeah, it's John Huston, the director, definitely brings like he fell in love with like the neo realism of the European style, but he mixed kind of his old noir style
Hmm.
on top of that 1970s rebellious handheld approach on some shots, and it's just a fun movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
John Huston did a great job with it. It's a good story. Could have been a bloodier, meaner movie, but like I've
But
I've
John,
said like I've
yeah,
said several times, I think the dialogue and just the delivery of the dialogue make this movie a little less dark, right? I mean, a
yeah,
lot
and I
of
mean,
these movies on this list, they have very dark themes, and this is just kind of a fun. Let's go with it. I mean, I was entertained as hell,
yeah, and
but I
yeah.
get. I mean, yeah, to put it above Gone with the Wind, and honestly, it should be at 10.
Well, yeah, because like you said, there's a little satire to it, and it's
And it's
not.
and it's
I,
two
I, I,
hours.
yeah, I had to freaking verify via like Reddit and AI. Like, is it an epic because it is
Yeah,
so short, and it is, but there does meet the criteria of it's covering different countries.
yeah,
It's
different
yeah,
landscapes,
different
a
cultures.
story
Yeah,
of power, or
right,
the
right.
but I mean, yeah, honestly, it should be at 10 just because, is it really better than Gangs of New York or Kingdom of Heaven? Probably not. But
Oh, maybe better than Kingdom of Heaven, but
but it's
I,
just
it's
it's
probably
fun.
tied with Gangs to be because those two, I would say those are the closest comparisons as far as quality. It's just like a
Yeah.
fun movie with some artistic style filmmaking to it. So, but
Okay. Well, so then I had dances at 5. So I mean, dances above Gone with the Wind at 4.
yeah, dude, I don't know, man. That's
I know.
that's a lot of
This
that's a lot of
this
rage bait. Yeah, there's a lot of rage bait with that choice. I don't know.
where did you have Dances with Wolves?
I had that 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Hmm.
mean, I guess we could put Gone with the Wind at 4, Dances with 5.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm good with that. So where are we at right now? Because we got 10 through 4, right?
Yeah, so right now, a little recap before we get to the top 3, which for anybody who knows us, I don't think anybody would think the top 3 would be any different than it is. Kingdom of Heaven, Gangs of New York at 9, Dr. Zhivago at 8, Giant at 7, The Man Who Would Be King at 6, Dances with Wolves at 5. Oh, excuse me. And then Gone with the Wind at 4.
Yeah. Not a bad list so far.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think all these movies could be interchangeable, right? I mean,
Right, right.
I kind of talked myself into actually liking Giant more than what I originally thought. The Man Who Would Be King is pretty high up. I'm disappointed Gangs is at 9, right? Like
Yeah, right.
dances dances always pisses me off, even though it is a fucking awesome movie. It always just every time I think about Goodfellas and how it got robbed.
Right. No, because we
But
both agree on that one. Yes, yes.
yeah, so then okay, so the top 3, I had Ben-Hur at 3.
Oh, okay. I had it at 2. So,
Okay, that makes sense. I know what you had at 1. All right, yeah,
No, you don't. We,
Is it one that?
I had Spartacus at 3.
Oh wow, okay. We're gonna agree
Oh,
on the top one.
that one's easy, man. I told you. I told you the other night. I was like, man, I'm pretty sure I'm a bigger Lawrence of Arabia fan than you are.
Yeah,
Like I'm.
that's. I don't know if that's true, but oh, I mean, shoot, that wasn't a lot of we. I think this is the first time we debated more about eight, seven, six, seven, and eight than one, two, and three.
Yeah, it's because yeah, it's usually we bicker about 9 and 10 quite a bit usually. It's
And then the
usually
middle, it's like, okay, yeah, well, yeah, that's okay, yeah, I'll put that there. And then it's like, no, number one, it has to be.
yeah.
Well,
Well, usually
I mean, we've gone into Spartacus a lot, right? Because we've already covered it. If you want to talk about it some more again, I'm happy to. But I think
it,
we can move it on. We can put it at three, and you'll discuss Ben-Hur and Lawrence of Arabia.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just with Spartacus, it's just a terrific film all the way around. And again, I even wrote in my notes it could be higher than Ben Hur, but with Ben Hur, it's like I don't know. It is just Ben Hur's just the chariot race alone is pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah.
Even for 1959, you know what I mean? Like it's still impressive
Oh,
even
definitely.
in this day and age. Yeah.
And I mean,
So
it really looks like these people are getting trampled and fucking killed. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they obviously didn't have best stunt work in '59 for the Oscars, but
Mhm.
any stuntman that worked on that movie can hold his head up high. Well, they're probably dead by now, but probably hold
Yeah.
their head up high and like, yeah, that was me right there. I'm getting trampled by a horse. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, the when Charlton Heston's chariot jumps over the other chariot, that
Yeah,
is an actual stunt man. Like it
yeah,
wasn't
that's
fucking dummy. Like somebody was
yeah, no, that's
actually in that
insane, man.
chariot. Yeah.
And then he falls over, to the front, and yeah, it's. I don't think there's a lot. There's not a lot of CGI happening there, obviously.
No, no. I mean, most of the production design are paintings, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's still great, colorful costumes, a great epic score by Mikolos Rosa. The acting, as strange as it sounds, you may say that the acting's like the weakest part, but it
I would
won two.
definitely say that actually because it's right here in my notes.
Yeah, but it won two acting Oscars, one for Heston and then one for Griffith. So
See,
it's
and I thought I have written down here, Charlton Heston, a little bit of an overactor in
he
this
can be.
movie. In this
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
you know, and it's it's typical. Going back to the chariot scene, it's like the good guy's on white horses, the bad guy has black horses, and it's just like
Mhm. A little spot on.
it's a
Yeah.
little spot on there. But I mean, I thought and then okay, well, I have to mention this. I'd never seen Ben-Hur before. This was my first viewing, and when he's a slave and like he's dying of water, and someone comes up and gives him water. For one, that acting, like when he's drinking the water, I thought was a little over the top. But then I'm sitting there like, is that supposed to be fucking Jesus? Like, did Jesus just save Ben-Hur? Like,
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he sees them in more than one way. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. And
and
then obviously at the end, it's more pronounced that yeah, this is supposed to be
the tale
you
of
know
Christ.
a
Yeah,
tale
that's
of Christ. Yeah, and it's
my
I
my
did not see that. I didn't know that that was part of the movie. Honestly,
my take with Ben Hur was Judah Ben Hur was the Messiah the Jews were waiting on. Like he was supposed to be the one. He was a prince. He was
yeah,
popular, rich, and he was the one who was supposed to lead the Jews against the Romans. But instead, for the Christians listening, they got Jesus. So
yeah,
it's one of those. Yeah, I love how Weiler doesn't. You never see Jesus's face.
yeah,
I
no,
like. He wanted him to be faceless. So
yeah. Which I mean, I think that was a good call because you don't. I mean, we have all the renditions, right, of what Jesus Christ looks like, and everybody has their opinion and take on it. Nobody really knows, right? I mean,
no, no.
so it's, and but I do have to mention, the Exodus scene where or the betrayal scene, clearly an accident. I mean, the tile falling on the guys, like
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
clearly an accident. I mean,
Oh
I don't
yeah, he knew.
understand, but
That's what makes him so evil, dude. He
yeah,
knew it was an accident.
Yeah. And then, I forget the character's name, but when he comes back from after saving the guy, he's like, "Oh, I can't," saves Arius. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
it clearly was a mistake because why would he try to kill my colonel and then or kill the guards and then
yeah, try
save
to
my
kill
colonel?"
my governor. Yeah, but say, yeah, come,
Yeah.
come see
The
me
guy with
tomorrow.
the
We'll talk of him. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, it's a good ramming scene too. I gotta say, I thought the scene on the water, the naval battle, was pretty
the
cool.
naval battle. Yeah, that was cool. That was
Yeah, and
cool.
especially like you said, with the not a lot of help with CGI computers and graphics. I thought it was well done. I did want to see the lepers though. I wanted to see them.
You wanted to see their face. You wanted to
I
see
want to
how
see
bad.
their faces. Why can't we see their face?
One of your biggest crimes about the movie is like, why didn't I see the lepers?
Yeah, I have it here. I said, why did we get robbed of lepers?
No, it's all right. 11 Oscars. We're good to go.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to number one. Obviously, is going to be Lawrence of Arabia, which neither of us are going to argue. We both love it. Sorry if you can hear my pages flipping. I'm getting back to the notes here. But yeah, I mean, just one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies. I mean, I just love rewatching it.
No, and I first saw it when I was pretty young, like 13, and I just didn't like appreciate the filmmaking and what the story, because it's actually a fairly complex story about a complex dude, and I don't think at the age I saw it I appreciated that, like you were saying, that canvas, that giant desert,
Yeah,
and how they'll never ever make a movie like this ever again. And it's
yeah,
hard.
dude.
I tried to get my nephew to watch it, and it didn't take long before he started looking at his phone. And even my dad was like, "What are you doing, dude?" All right, checking my phone. He's like, "Dude, what you're watching right here is no AI. It's no special effects. They shot this in the desert,
Yeah,
and it's yeah, probably
and I
one of
mean,
the
it's
best."
just it's continual shots of the camels in the desert, and they're getting the wide shots and the camera angles from well, it had to be a fucking helicopter, like.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's just the vastness of the Arabian desert is just incredible. And to go out and shoot it, in the Middle East with, I mean, it had to be thousands of extras. I mean, the one shot where they come around the corner and you just see all the tents of, shoot, I can't remember the name of the tribe, but it just, I mean, those are all actual fucking tents there. Like
yeah, yeah.
the amount of time and money and effort and manpower it took to do all of this, it blows my mind every time I watch it.
No, that's why David Lean was the king of epics. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
and you just, I mean,
you
and it's like I said, it's continual shots of the camels in the deserts that just it really pounds into your head like they are fucking out there, and this is based on a true story. I'm sure some things were taken at
yeah,
liberty, but it's just yeah. I mean, just from the opening line where the trick is not minding that it hurts, so it's like okay, good dialogue here too, and then he's out in the middle of the desert. The lone rider, the lone camel, after he goes back to save Sim,
yeah, yeah. I
and
love the scene. Yeah. Well, and you can't. One of the most famous cuts in history when he's got the match, and you assume he's going to put it out with his finger the first time you watch it, but then when he blows it out, it cuts to the
yeah,
Arabian desert as the sun at dawn, or
yeah,
yeah, as the sun slowly. Yeah, it's just oh my god, this is a movie where whenever somebody says, "Oh, I can't watch old movies," like
yeah,
shut the fuck up, watch this movie, man. Like this, it's still like age. It's still like it still looks great. Of course, it's been restored
yeah,
who knows how many times, so it looks better now. But yeah, they've it's an incredible story about an extraordinary gentleman and shot by one of the greatest directors of all time. So
yeah. I felt a little robbed that we didn't get to see the taking of Damascus.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, shit, man. It was well. Let's be honest. We were already 3 hours into the movie, so
Yeah, that's true.
budgets, tempers were probably wearing a little thin. So it's
Yeah, I mean, I think the intermission came at like, it's a 4 hour movie. The intermission came like damn near at 3 hours. So it's like
yeah.
the
Well,
first half of the movie is just incredible. I mean, obviously the entire movie is incredible, but
yeah. I'll say this with confidence, and it kind of sounds odd to say, but since it's like 3 hours and 45 minutes, the first 2.5 hours of this movie are it's probably the greatest movie of all time.
yeah,
I think it. I personally don't like it when Peter O'Toole's character T. E. Lawrence kind of starts believing in his own prophecy. He
yeah,
just yeah, that kind of grinds my gears a little bit, but it's still great, and probably as far as the look goes, the sets, you could probably pause this movie at any time and like take a still frame of it and they put it in a fucking museum or something. You know what I mean? It just looks good. Like every shot looks good.
yeah. No, especially I mean after Aqaba and the raid of Aqaba when they kind of scan over the city and then they see the sea, just the dark blue of the water, against the backdrop of all the white houses and cottages or whatever they are. It's just it's that's another great shot, and it just him being in the water on the camel was fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, I love close to everything about this movie.
Yeah, and I mean it sucks that in war people die, right? But with the two, like with Faraj getting killed by the detonator,
Right.
it's like god
Salute
damn
him
it,
for
why
me.
did the two kids have to die?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the most
Dad will
disappointing of
be
the movies.
Dad will be angry at you. Salute him
Yeah,
for me.
exactly. He's like, tell him I said, wow, I forget what he says, but
Salute him for me is what he
salute
says.
him for me. Yeah. Okay. Well, dang, that wrapped it up. Wow, we're pretty succinct in this one.
Well, you got to work, man. There's motivation. You got to work today. So,
Yeah, and long couple of days at work, but I mean, we could go on and on about a lot of these movies for much more. But
well, is there
I,
any because the two movies we really didn't talk about too much that we could probably spend at least a minute talking about is Spartacus and Dances, and we didn't talk about them because we've covered them in previous pods. Is
yeah,
there anything you want to talk about with since it was on your list? You want to talk about Dances with Wolves for a minute or so?
I mean, it's just everybody knows the movie by now. I think if you're a movie fan, it's written, directed by Kevin Costner, and he, had this vision of the story and all shot on location, right up in
Mhm. Mhm.
Montana and Idaho and I believe Wyoming. The it always the most fascinating part about the making of that movie that I always bring about when I'm talking about it with other friends or you or my family or just movie lovers is the buffalo chasing scenes were all done because Kevin Costner just approached a guy who owned a herd of buffalo on his land and
Mhm.
allowed them to chase them around for 3 days. And then once the buffalo realized that they're not actually going to get shot or hurt at all, on the fourth
They
day
just
they just stopped running around. They were no longer afraid of the men on the horses chasing them around, and they just famously just laid down and they had to have the shots that they had over the first 3 days shooting were what they were going to have to use.
yeah, yeah.
And I always think, it's really neat that Kevin Costner's parents were on location with him the whole time too. He had dinner with them every single night during production, and but it just
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I don't think we talked
looking
about that the last
and
time.
looking back at it, it always does kind of irk me, obviously about the Goodfellas thing, but it's a movie about Native American culture and the Native American story of the Wild West, and then it's the white savior, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
and we also said that this meets more of an Oscar criteria than Goodfellas did. Goodfellas was pretty brutal and raw and maybe a
yeah,
little too much for the Oscar voters back in
yeah,
1990.
and this is a gentle storytelling and great epic
Yeah,
sweeps. You got a writer, director, actor But again, it's just it always going back to it. I'm like, God, it's supposed to be about Native Americans, and yet the hero of the movie is a white guy. Like it's just
Right.
typical Hollywood, right? But
Fucking
you
Hollywood.
want to do a little bit on Spartacus then?
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of in the same boat. We're on repeat from the episode we talked about it for the Michael and Kirk Douglas episode, but I feel like it hits on all cylinders, everything, and I think one of the that's why we probably could have put it above Ben-Hur was because I think the acting is fucking superior in this. It's incredible, and I think the dialogue's better.
Yeah, I agree.
It's I think Kubrick. I think he shot on location a little bit more, and his battle sequences were actually filmed in Spain with an army. It came out before Lawrence, but more realistic and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
costumes.
thought Kirk Douglas acting was way more authentic. I guess I'll say, and I just think Kirk Douglas is a better actor than Charlton Heston, in my opinion.
Yeah,
At
I
least
mean,
for
yeah,
at least
I
for
don't know if
these
you
two
can argue.
movies.
Yeah, well, the main reason people think Kirk was so adamant about making Spartacus was because he lobbied for Ben-Hur pretty hard, and
Yeah.
he'd worked with William Wyler on Detective Story, another movie we covered, but Wyler
Yeah.
wanted to go in a different direction. I think that kind of, yeah, I don't think Kirk liked that, so it was Spartacus was kind of like a I'll show you. So he
Yeah.
made which,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
Which
I
I
mean,
think I think he did. Like,
yeah, yeah. well,
yeah,
shit, man.
I
You
would
can
be
put
happy to.
we can put Spartacus at two if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. 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 All right.
Okay,
I'm marking it down.
okay. Yeah,
I like that.
it's if it was going to be my greatest of all time list, I'd put Spartacus ahead of Ben-Hur. But
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, top three then: Ben-Hur at 3, Spartacus 2, Lawrence of Arabia 1.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Damn, man, for an Epics pod, it's one of our shortest pods.
Yeah,
So
I was just gonna say that we're just over 1 hour. I mean, I know for the listeners out there, the Scorsese one was close to 2, and that's because I went on and on and on about every movie and every shot. and, but we have been trying to keep it a little tighter so that it's more palpable to see on Spotify and say, oh, it's an hour long. It's not 2 hours of listening to these two jabronis.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up our epics. We're going to be coming out with more this summer and into the fall. So, keep listening. Hit that like and follow on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. We'll be updating all of our social media face apps as we go along. Zach, you got anything more for us?
Did you recap the top 10?
Yeah, we already did that, right? Or we can one more time.
Yeah,
At number
just in case. I think I might have been drinking some of my energy drink and I wasn't listening. Sorry, Jaren.
at number 10, Kingdom of Heaven. Number 9, Gangs New York. Number 8, Dr. Zhivago. 7, Giant. 6, yeah, maybe a little high for this, The Man Who Would Be King.
Yeah.
Dances with Wolves coming in at number 5. Gone with the Wind at 4. And then the top 3, Ben-Hur, Spartacus, and Lawrence of Arabia coming away with the top notch.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, as mentioned, we'll be coming out with more. Zach's going to be releasing and editing. He's our producer and, like I said, the mastermind of this entire thing. So thank you, Zach, for this opportunity, and we're going to keep going.
Thank you, Jaren. Have a good day at work.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Bye.
Wrap. It's a wrap. Come back tomorrow.
Harry,
Fuck.